I would say one wish, man.
One wish.
Yeah.
What would that wish be?
Oh, I don't know. We always played a game back in, our little kids. We always said, make that wish. I wish every wish I made would come true. Then I don't know. It's just something I've always, I don't know that I can really say. I just kind of like looking back at some of the things that maybe people used to have to do on their own, and just think, well, what if I had to make those things myself? And, sometimes some of those things interest me. It's not just blacksmithing, but well, it always depends on the situation, I would say. Sometimes the obvious choice, which I don't know that those are two obvious choices, isn't necessarily so obvious, I think. Some people think that, oh, well, there's an obvious choice to that. So I don't know. It always depends on the situation. I don't ever think you can just say choose one or the other just right offhand. So I don't know. Save a school bus of kids or my wife who just had a heart attack. Well, I'm going to go ahead and say that. Well, I'd probably save the school bus of kids, My wife, she has a heart attack. I just get another wife. Nah, she's all right. But maybe I could save my wife who's having a heart attack, and then she can save the school bus of kids. Well, it's a hobby. Yeah, it's the one that it's kind of easy to do. So if I have time to do it, so I do like it, and I have other ones. But yeah, it's one of my favorites, I guess you would say.
What games do you like to play?
Well, I go back to we started whenever I was your age, or a couple years younger. There were the Atari systems, which were little blips that moved across the screen, and then, so I don't know, and video arcade games. So I was there for the beginning of video games. When I went to college, I think actually when I maybe graduated high school, around that time was when the first good Nintendo system came out. Went to college and I didn't play video games, and after college I didn't play for a while, so there's probably a 10-year gap there. And then I picked up with around the beginning or middle of maybe the PS2 when the PlayStation 2 came out. So somebody had a game and they just let me borrow it. It's Final Fantasy X, and I played that for a while. Actually, I'd played a couple James Bond games. I guess my younger brother had a system also. So I played those and kind of liked those. But then when I played Final Fantasy X, I kind of got more interested, and still to this day I tend to play more role-playing games. And it doesn't matter if they're action role-playing games or turn-based role-playing games, so I tend to play more role-playing games. I will play some action games, even action shooter games. I tend not to play too many sports games and things like that. So it's mostly role-playing games, and like I said, there's some others that I'll play, but I tend to play those more than anything else. Have you ever played Morrowind? A lot of people do. It may be, what is it played on the PC, I guess? I won't buy another Xbox. Bad business, man, the Xbox 360. I'm like, well, the magic doesn't seem that powerful in the game anyway, and it takes a long time to use. And then it'll break down. They fixed it once, which was supposedly beyond the warranty. No, I do have Bloodborne, which I guess is similar to all the Dark Souls games, so they never should have sold me a defective system and then wanted me to spend more money on one that was not defective. They should have actually replaced my old system with one that was not defective. That's bad business on their part. They've lost some money. And as you're battling random battles, you can absorb this magic, and you can eventually absorb like 100 units of it, or 99 or something like that as a maximum amount. I had a PS2 that lasts forever, still going. It wouldn't fix it, and then it lasted even even less time the second time, and then they said, well, we wouldn't fix it, and they wanted to sell me another one at reduced price. You had the later versions, well, they fixed the issue. Some things I just didn't like about it, and then I got to the very end and I couldn't win the final boss battle, and then I leveled my characters all the way up to maximum level, and I still couldn't win, beat the last one, and I put it down for a while, and then I looked back and I said, oh, I think I had an issue one time with the PS2, and they fixed it and sent it back to me. I never had another issue. There was a problem, and the reason they had the problem was because they were having problems, and I don't know if it was because of the unlimited all the Dark Souls games. And I wanted to finish that, maybe play it last summer. I've never taken the time to go back and. We shouldn't have had to buy a 360 and then have to buy another 360. But see, it was a PS1 game, and I had to buy you had to get a memory card for a PS1 game. It worked on the PlayStation 2, but what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to absorb this magic. I know those games are not they're not easy, user-friendly kind of, and they don't really try to be, which I don't mind, but you kind of have to figure some things out. So, and you can use this magic, and if you use the magic, well, like you might use it 10 times, well, your magic goes down, and then you can absorb more of them from enemies. So, might have good systems now, but if they want me to play Xbox, they're gonna have to give me one. Yeah, well, the Xbox 360 had some defects, which they honored for a little bit, but the system wouldn't even last.
Well, I guess that's it.
Oh, that's it? That's good?
That's good.
And so you played Oblivion, huh? You like Oblivion better than Skyrim?